Hey everybody, thanks for pressing play. In this video we're going to have a look around this car here. This is Hyundai Santa Fe and this is the executive model. This is a four-wheel drive Jeep. It's a 2.2 engine with nearly 200 brake horsepower and it's got a 2.5 ton towing capacity as well. But what's also nice about these cars is they're really well equipped inside and they also have the ability to have 7 seats as well, which is really useful. This particular example has arrived into us and we actually sold this car originally to the owner as well. And if you'd like any information on this particular car, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945. Brian is my name. And we are Fitzpatrick's Garage, a family-run business in operation for almost 70 years with brands like Hyundai, Honda, Mercedes as well as Opel. So for the rest of the video, we're going to have a look around the features that I like on the outside of this car and we're going to have a look at the features on the inside of the car and we'll go for a quick drive in the car as well. And for anyone watching on YouTube, if you think the video is useful, please do like and subscribe because it lets me know the video is useful, and if there's any information you want to know, let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. Starting off the outside then, the first thing is the colour of the car is what's called a Wild Explorer. This type of colour actually we found in the last little while has become very popular, and also on the Tucson as well. On the front end of that car, it's really big and mean and tough looking, so if you see something like that in your rear view mirror, it's quite imposing. Looking at it a bit more closely, things like the grille, it's just absolutely gigantic. I quite like this chrome effect along the top as well. And it also, down along here, has a brushed aluminium along the bottom of the bumper. So nice, small little details, which make it a really distinctive front end compared to other cars on the market. I quite like these daytime running lights as well. At a glance, you would think they're headlamps, but they're literally just LED daytime running lights. And when you switch on the headlamps, then these become parking lights down low, and you have this stacked headlight, full light indicator setup, and even front fog lights down here. And again, it just makes it really distinctive looking compared to other SUVs on the market. I always like a car that looks a little bit different than everything else. Moving down the side of the car then, there is 18-inch wheels which are diamond cut, and you can see there's more chrome along around the windows, but there's also brushed aluminium down on the bottom of the doors, the door handles, and even the roof rails up high again, so they match the front bumper accents that we've already seen. And because it's an executive model then, privacy glass will also be standard on the rear of the car, and it's really useful for keeping the sun out of young kids' eyes, and it looks pretty cool as well. And this is a big car, because if you look over here, this is a Mercedes GLC. That is, you know, a Jeep in the Mercedes style. This is a lot bigger looking, and even if you look over here, that is a big car. Now, that's the biggest of the Mercs, the Mercedes ML, the GLB beside it. Look at the size of Santa Fe. Santa Fe is a big car. And we'll see that when we actually start looking around the inside of the car. Anyway, round to the rear, as you can see, there is more nice accents on the car which match the front and the side. So it's got this nice brushed aluminium section down along through here. Again, it's got chrome up through here. And one thing I love in these cars, these taillights. The taillights are really cool. If you see these at night time, there's so many little small shapes inside them. They're very cool looking. And I also like this dual exit exhaust on the rear. It just gives it a kind of sporty finish. And as you can see along the back then, parking sensors are standard too. And the previous owner also has a removable tow bar. And the reason it's got a removable tow bar is they had a wheelchair. So that was the reason that they had the tow bar fitted to the car. But it's nice because you can take it off for most of the time when you're not using it. And then when you do need it, it just pops into place. Anywho, let's move into the boot. Now that it's dark at night time, see what I mean about those tail lamps? Cool. And H-Track is because it is a 4-wheel drive. These cars came in 2 and 4-wheel drive. Forgot to unlock the boot. Let's try that again. So this car, as we were saying, is the 4-wheel drive. So the first thing is you end up with a massive boot in these cars if you're not using the rear seats. And while we're here, just to show you, the occupants in the rear will have control over their own climate in terms of how much ventilation they want from the vents here. And both sides will have ventilation as well. And the other thing as well is underneath here, if you want, there is a parcel shelf, which means you can take that out, place it up here if you want to cover over and basically have some privacy for the stuff that's in the rear. And check this out as well. 2 buttons over here. What you do is you press the buttons and out of all the SUVs we sell, actually that's one of the coolest way and most effective ways to drop the seats. So you end up with that massive load area that's the same as basically a light commercial vehicle. In terms of using the 2 seats in the back, well, it's pretty easy. So what you do is you pull, and on the other side you also pull. Unfortunately, as with most 7-seater vehicles, the boot is quite small once you use the rear seats. So a lot of the times people might decide to maybe have one up and one down. The thing to remember with cars like this is that you have some versatility, so you might leave one down, it gives you a bit more boot space, one in the back, and then you can also move these seats half and half. Well, not quite, it's more 70-30 in terms of independence, so it gives someone back here a bit more leg room, and a shorter person might sit here and then a taller person might sit over there. So again, it's just kind of mixing and matching in the most sensible way possible. And for anyone that's wondering how do you actually access the back seats, it's really simple. They've made it really good on this model. Press the button, that's all you do, and then you step in through here. And once you're sitting in here, then this is, if I have the seats in this kind of position, this is the amount of space that I'm going to have around me. Yeah, okay, it's not a lot of space. I am 6 foot. It is for younger kids. But then again, any of these 7-seater cars, none of them are really for adults in the back. They're for occasional 7-seater use and mostly with kids. But what I do like about it is it's very, very simple and straightforward to use without straining. The seats in the back then are a nice leather, and I love the material that they use with different types of texture. So this kind of pattern along through here, it's really nice. The condition's really nice on this particular car as well. And in terms of the back, 3 head restraints, 3-point safety belts. There is an armrest in the center in through here with some drinks holders, and the back doors are pretty clever as well, because again they have these lovely textures which match the seats that we saw already. There is heated dual stage rear seats, which is quite rare. Electric windows back through there. There's privacy glass we talked about, but the other cool thing as well is you got sun blinds, so you really can stop the sun getting in on the back, or sorry, getting into the eyes in the back of young kids. Which, if you speak English, basically translates into what I meant to say was it stops sun beating into the back onto kids' eyes. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, that came out all wrong. Space wise, you got good headroom, actually really good headroom, and actually sitting behind myself there's some really good leg room back here as well. The other thing as well, down through here then you're going to have a little bit of storage, and what I really like is there is 2 USB connectors in the back here. And also for passenger comfort as well, you can recline these seats backwards. Honestly, these are a superly duperly comfortable car to sit in the back of. Up front then, again, you have this nice design pattern. There's electrics for windows and mirrors in through here. Over here we've got controls for brightness of the dash. There's a diff lock, which means you can lock up that rear axle if you get into a really unusual precarious position when you're off-roading, and it allows you to get out much easier. There's lane keep assist. There's things like cruise control, and there's things like Bluetooth in through here. And the dash clocks are nice. They have these big white clocks, which I really like. They're simple and straightforward. And in through here then, various trip information, things like your AdBlue level, average speed and fuel consumption and all that kind of stuff. And after that then the all-wheel drive or the lane keep assist or attention level, or just tyre pressures down through there, with overall settings after that on the third menu. In through the centre, so as you're looking forward, this is what you see, and over here then you have this screen up here. Things like your reverse camera will be in through there, and as you see in a while when we go for a drive, you can actually have that on the whole time, which I really think is very, very cool. And after that then you have radio functionality in through here. I love the station list on these, really simple and straightforward to use. Swipe. And the other thing as well is Android Auto, Apple CarPlay will be in through here as well. Heating controls are dual zone, so different temperatures on each side of the car. You have a heated steering wheel and heated front seats with a triple action. And down through here, USB connector, and also wireless charging in through there. So like that's 5 abilities to charge devices throughout the car. And behind the gear stick then, there is the camera, which we're going to see in a while, which allows us to use the rear view camera when we're driving, parking sensors on or off, auto stop start, and we can change the sensitivity of the steering wheel as well from normal to sport. This rear view mirror then will have a compass, and it's also electrochromatic, which means when someone drives up behind you at night time, it actually darkens itself. And in terms of the dash overall, there's little bits of storage over here in front of the passenger. And the handbrake is a conventional handbrake, which a lot of people seem to prefer. The 2020 model seems to have electric handbrake, which some people aren't happy about. Height adjustable seat, obviously, lumbar support for lower back, and this peripheral area of the seat, which is the most used in any car, is in really nice condition. These drive lovely. I like Santa Fe because it feels like a big Jeep to drive. Well, actually, that's not true. It feels like a big Jeep from the point of view of the way you're sitting and just the amount of space that you have around you and all that kind of stuff. But actually, even like on a back road or something like this, so much power. 2.2, nearly 200 horsepower. But like we're saying to you, on a back road like this and there's some oncoming traffic, you know, from the point of view of bumps and turns and compressions and twists and all that kind of stuff, it's still a very capable car in terms of how it drives. What I mean by that is capable, I mean it actually feels like it doesn't feel like a big Jeep. It's not waving and rolling around the place and stuff like you'd expect on a car this size, so it drives in a kind of tidy sort of fashion. But for cruising and stuff like that, they're just a nice car. It's a nice big car. The other thing as well is what I love on these, you can have this camera on the whole time. Okay, yes, to be fair, your rear view mirror and your wing mirrors, they're the best ones to use the whole time, but that is cool. I don't care what anyone says, I love it. It's absolutely deadly. And you can just see what's going on behind you instead of having to look at your mirrors. Now you still have to look at your mirrors, but I just think that's a really nice feature. And because this is the four-wheel drive then, it also allows you to track where the power is going to in which wheel. And I like that feature. It's useful when you're off-roading, but you know what? Because it's a nice upper class car, it just makes you feel like you're in something special when you see features like that. Anyway, so there you have it. That is our four-wheel drive Executive Plus Hyundai Tucson. If there's information you want on this car, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945 if you want to know about the car, or financing, or just trading in your own car. So hopefully the video has been useful. Hopefully the car is of interest. Thanks for taking time to watch.